Oh, hello, and welcome back to the Journey with Janey podcast. I am here with you today, looking out onto the beautiful sun that's shining in. You can, for those of you watching, you can see that sun's reflecting in through the window. So, yes, this is episode 44, The Journey Ahead. So this is my kind of roundup of the last few sessions that we've done on the podcast. And as autumn settles around us outside, I mean, I'm looking out in the trees, most of the leaves have fallen from the trees. And we arrive at the close of season 1. And what I want to say is, and I think I maybe touched on this last week, it's hard to believe that this podcast began way back in January 2025 as just a whisper in my head that I actually needed to do a podcast. The word podcast kept popping up into my head, and I am so proud of myself for actually still being here talking to you guys as we close season 1 on episode 44. Over the last 10 months, it has been absolute pleasure to sit here and serve you guys who are listening. And I have grown. The podcast has grown. And I hope that you can feel that growth and are getting more out of my weekly podcast. I think as I started this podcast, it was more of a space for my storytelling and almost a spoken journal, shall we say, of my growth journey this year. A space to share my story and the reflections of the grief, the love, and the growth that I have gone through this past 10 months. And I hope it has become apparent that it is more than a storytelling process now with you guys, but able for me to give you some teachings, some reflections, and offer you gentle tools to carry your own grief, your own story with care, make you more aware and make you think a little bit more about where you actually are, where you want to go. So as I sit here recording the final episode of season 1, I am absolutely filled with gratitude for how far this journey has come and for all of you guys who've walked alongside with me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in and listening. So to reflect on the season, obviously I mentioned that the first probably 30 episodes were me finding my voice and me actually becoming confident to talk about my story. And a lot of it was a bit of a kind of my healing journey, I suppose, to be able to talk about it and share it with you guys. And when we began the more structured version, when I actually put a bit more thought into how I could serve you as the listener, probably back to episode 36 when I did my reintroduction, I did my presentation of where I actually was then, and that is going to be reviewed again. So watch this space, you'll get another reintroduction, or it may be on my Facebook page or YouTube or whatever. I haven't really decided yet. And I think that was the initial start of talking from grief to growth. How grief isn't about moving on, but it's about moving forward with meaning. And that links into the training that I did with David Kessler and being one of his grief educators now. And I carried you along on that journey as well. We also expanded on what grief actually looks like. We discovered the quiet field, which is my signature offering, and the power of being out in nature, being still, and just being with yourself. Excuse me, if you would like to go back and have a re-listen of that episode. From there, we moved into the love that still exists, which was my time in Marbella, and how that was a big sort of monumental, I'm going to say monumental, it was a big part of the journey and how I am today. And that's not that long ago. So for all of you guys who think there's a quick fix out there, there is no quick fix. You have to work on yourself. And as we grow, the grief gets smaller. Then we talked about the importance of community, about finding your tribe. And I'm currently working with a group of, well, there's 19 other ladies on a collaboration book. And this links in because we obviously talk about our journeys into business and how we are where we are. And I think this was a defining moment for me to realise that actually what I went through as a teenager is actually to find where I am today, finding my tribe within young farmers. And I think I've actually talked about that as well. And then having to find a tribe again when Jonathan died, to actually have that accountability and alongside the beautiful friendships and support from family and friends. So yeah, community is 100% the support, but you need to find the people that resonate with you to hold you accountable, to give you those simple steps. And a reminder that grief is never finished. It's with us for life. It's something we learn to carry and reshape and live alongside. And I think if you delve into my website and look at I think it's called seasonal transitions. One of the things that I wrote back when I did the seasonal transition was, how would I react when my time comes, when I meet Jonathan again, if he turned round and said, "Why did you die with me?" So if you take a look at that insight on the website, there's a huge, a bit more info as to how I got to that question. But it's something I often ask myself as a reminder when it's a bit of a rubbish day or something hasn't gone quite right. It is a reminder for me to actually go, I want to be able to say it to Jonathan, I did this, 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 and this with my life. So it's a reminder that as we grow, the grief gets smaller. And as we're talking about Jonathan, I could never have imagined being sat here talking to you, sharing what's helped me, not just to survive, but to slowly rediscover the meaning in my life and why I'm here, finding my peace and purpose. So to everyone who's listened journaled, used my prompts to journal, anybody who's reached out to have further conversations, or just tuned into the podcast, thank you. Like I said before, from the bottom of my heart. I know you're there. I know you're connecting with me. And this is what I love. The fact that I am serving people through bringing this podcast to as many people as I possibly can. So I probably could have split this seasons into my journaling, my storytelling, whatever, but that was part of the journey. So we could have been into season 3, but I'm not even going to go there. So I think if I look back on the last sort of 10 episodes when we got a bit more structured, giving you guys reflection prompts and some work to actually do to help yourself, that there's power in being vulnerable, being able to speak your truth and show those feelings, strength within a community, finding your tribe, and probably for me, the most important, that even in loss, in whatever shape or form it may be, it's not just about death. It can be loss of identity, loss of a job, loss of a promotion that you thought you were going to get, retirement. The list's endless, and I've talked about this lots and lots and lots. We are all still growing, still learning, and still becoming. So as we look forward to season 2, and as autumn deepens into, dare I say it, those winter months, the clocks went back with us last weekend, so the nights get darker quicker. We begin to move that to that winter, those proper dark nights, like when you sat in front of the fire and at 3:30, it's looking like it's nearly pitch black outside. So I always think of winter personally as slowing down, almost going into a hibernation kind of mode. I'm not saying just switch off and curl up. If that's what you want to do, then feel free. Slowing down and going inward, going inside to in and feel those feels. So yeah, that's where I'm heading with season 2. So the journey that we're going to go on is going to be more reflective, more practical, offering the guidance and the gentle tools to support you through the darker, quieter months, because it can be difficult, those long, dark nights. And just to give you a bit of an insight, episode 1 will be called Moving into Winter, an exploration of rest, renewal, and the wisdom of pausing. Pausing and being still, and how important it can be. We'll talk about the going within, the inner landscape, trying to link this more to the nature around us and how that can actually help us find meaning in stillness, and building small self-care things to help with what's going on around outside. I know I've talked about switching off the senses and not being affected by what's going on outside, but sometimes we need those tools to actually be able to do that. So what I want you to do before next week, before season 2 starts, is think about the continuation of what we've talked about over the last 10 or so episodes, and going deeper into the work of grief and growth. So I'm going to leave you with some closing reflections, as I do every week. And You can do this journal. You can just answer the questions in your head, whatever you feel, whatever feels right for you. And I know everybody's different, so I've written these down, so I'm going to read them out. What has this season of your life or this podcast taught you about love and resilience? Which episode, or me yabbering on while I'm walking out with the dogs, stayed with you most deeply and why? And finally, as we move into autumn and winter, what are you ready to release? What is the one thing that you can let go of that might help you get through these winter months? And what do you wish to nurture and grow? So I'll leave you with those 3 questions, and I would love to hear your feedback. Connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whichever you find is the easiest for you. Drop a note or a text on the podcast. You can do that way. Emails are all on there as well. So, and yeah, I'm not going to babble. And I know you haven't heard that for a while because I could babble all day and I'm not going to. So until next time, take care and remember your grief and your growth can coexist in this life. And as we grow, our grief becomes smaller. So until next time, guys, much love. Thank you for joining me on the Journey with Janey podcast. It's always a pleasure to be with you on a Wednesday or whenever you are downloading and listening to the Journey with Janey podcast. All I ask is that you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And also remember, there are ways of contacting me through my website on www.journeywithjaney.com. There's a contact button to book a call, which is a free 15-minute call, and all the details of the ways to work with me are on my website. I'm always available for a chat, a DM, or just a message via LinkedIn or Instagram. We all have the social handles now. Just drop me a message and let's talk. And remember, we don't have to do this alone, which is exactly why I am here to help guide you on this journey. I am the me that I needed 3 years ago, and I hope and feel that I can help you on your journey of moving forward by taking small, simple steps. So from me to you, take care.